All right, let's head to Scotland. Today we're diving deep into Inverness.
Sounds fun.
We're using a source called Top 10 Places to Visit in Inverness by Narrative Nomad to help plan a trip there.
Oh, cool.
It seems like there's so much more to it than just Loch Ness.
Oh, absolutely. Inverness is kind of like the heart of the Scottish Highlands.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's this incredible blend of, gorgeous scenery, tons of history, and a vibrant city vibe.
I love it.
Yeah.
Okay, well, speaking of history, this source kicks off with Inverness Castle,
Uh-huh.
and it looks incredible in pictures, like perched right up on a hill overlooking the entire city.
Yeah,
But it says here that you can't go inside.
that's right. Yeah. It's more of a landmark, like a symbol of the city.
Mm.
The current structure is actually from the 19th century, so it kind of represents this interesting blend of Victorian architecture and the ancient Highland heritage.
Uh-huh.
But the grounds are open to the public, and the views at sunset, they're legendary.
Oh, okay. So maybe less exploring dusty halls and more epic panorama, like contemplation vibes.
Exactly, yeah.
Gotcha. So after we soak in the castle views, what else should we see while we're downtown?
Well, if you want a true taste of local life, you got to check out the Victorian Market.
The Victorian Market.
Yeah. Imagine this beautiful old building with, like, glass ceilings, and it's full of independent shops.
Ooh, I love finding those little hidden gems, like things you just don't see everywhere else.
Definitely, yeah.
What kind of stuff can I find there?
Oh, everything. You'll find handmade crafts, local textiles, artwork. Definitely a great place to get souvenirs.
Nice.
Plus, there are lots of different places to eat there offering local specialties.
Oh, okay, all right. Victorian market tea and people watching just got added to the itinerary.
Good choice.
Now, no surprise here, a river runs right through Inverness. The River Ness.
The Inverness, yeah.
But this isn't just any river.
Oh, it really is special.
What's so special about it?
It flows right through the heart of Inverness, and it really adds to this sense of tranquility.
Okay.
You can wander along the banks. There are walking paths, cycling paths, and you can even take a boat tour.
Okay.
Yeah, and you get a whole different perspective of the city.
All right, sold on the river walk.
Great.
But hold on.
What?
There are islands in the middle of the river.
You read that right. They're called the Ness Islands.
The Ness Island.
Yeah, a series of small islands connected by footbridges.
Cool.
Yeah, it's really a peaceful escape, especially if you're looking to get away from the busy city center.
Mm.
You can wander through greenery, lots of colorful flowers. You'll hear birds singing.
Okay, I already feel more relaxed just thinking about it.
I know, right?
It sounds like the perfect place to, like, recharge before
Before what?
tackling Loch Ness.
Ah, yes.
We're in Inverness, so we can't skip the legendary Loch Ness, can we?
Absolutely not.
And I have to admit, I'm really interested in the Loch Ness Monster.
Of course. And, there's the Loch Ness Center and Exhibition.
The Loch Ness Center and Exhibition,
Yeah.
what's that like?
It's this really neat place where you can actually explore the myth, but also the science behind it.
I appreciate that balanced approach, yeah. I'm all for a good mystery,
Uh-huh.
but I like to separate fact from fiction,
Yeah.
or, at least try.
Yeah, exactly.
Hmm.
You'll find interactive exhibits, informative displays, even staff who are passionate about sharing the stories and the research around Nessie.
Really?
Yeah.
That's cool. What kind of stuff can I learn about there?
Well, you can learn about the history of sightings,
Mm.
all the sonar explorations, the geological features of the loch itself.
Okay.
It's very interesting.
Wow, this is making me think about the time I tried to convince all my friends that Bigfoot was real using blurry pictures.
Oh, no.
We'll save that story for another time. So after I brush up on all the Nessie lore at the center, I assume we're heading to the actual loch
Of course. Of course.
to do some monster hunting.
You never know. You might spot something.
Right.
Yeah.
Is there a better place to do that than Urquhart Castle?
Oh, Urquhart Castle.
A castle right on the loch, dating back to the 13th century.
It's breathtaking.
Talk about epic.
It really is.
So tell me more about this Urquhart Castle. Why is it so special?
Well, imagine yourself standing on the ramparts, wind whipping through your hair, looking out over this vast expanse of Loch Ness.
Wow.
It's just incredible. And for centuries, this castle played such a key role in the struggle for power in Scotland.
Really?
Yeah, it was attacked, besieged multiple times,
Wow.
changing hands between, Scottish clans and English forces.
Wow. Talk about a front row seat to history. It must feel pretty powerful to, stand in a place that witnessed all that.
You can feel the weight of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
And of course, Urquhart Castle is said to be one of the best vantage points for spotting Nessie.
Oh, okay. So this is definitely where I'm taking my I believe in Nessie selfie.
Perfect spot.
Now, switching gears just a bit, let's talk about another historical site, but one with maybe a little different feel.
Okay, sure.
The Culloden battlefield, the site of the last battle on British soil.
That's right, yeah.
That's some heady stuff. What's it like to visit today? Is it just a field?
Well, visiting Culloden, it's a powerful experience.
Yeah.
It's not just an empty battlefield. It was a memorial site, and it really makes you reflect on this really pivotal moment in Scottish history.
Okay.
And the Jacobite uprising that culminated at Culloden, it was a really complex and tragic chapter.
Okay, I admit I need a little refresher on my Scottish history. Can you tell me what the Jacobite uprising was all about?
In a nutshell, it was a series of rebellions aimed at restoring the Stuart dynasty to the British throne.
Hmm.
The Jacobites were mainly Highland clans, loyal to the Stuarts, and they clashed with the Hanoverian government.
Okay.
And Culloden, in 1746, marked the final and pretty devastating defeat of the Jacobite cause.
So standing on that battlefield, knowing the weight of history that unfolded there,
Yeah,
it must be pretty emotional.
it really is. You can walk the grounds. You can see the marked graves of the fallen.
Wow.
You can visit the visitor center and learn about the battle and the aftermath.
Okay.
It really makes you think about the human cost of conflict and the lasting impact on a nation.
Wow, that's a powerful way to put it.
Yeah,
It sounds like a really moving experience, a chance to connect with history on a very personal level.
exactly. And speaking of connecting with the past, let's talk about a site that takes us even further back in time. Clea Cairns.
Clava Cairns,
Yeah.
ancient burial grounds, right?
That's right.
Okay, this is giving me serious, Indiana Jones vibes. Tell me everything.
Well, imagine stepping back in time nearly 4,000 years.
Wow.
That's how old these Bronze Age burial mounds are.
4,000 years old.
Yeah. They actually predate even the Egyptian pyramids.
No way. Okay, my mind is officially blown. 4,000 years old.
That's amazing.
That's incredible. What do they actually look like?
Well, they're not just piles of dirt.
Okay, good.
They're very carefully constructed stone structures.
Okay.
Some of them have passageways that lead to these inner chambers. And here's where it gets really interesting.
Okay.
They're actually aligned with the movements of the sun and the moon.
Wait, are you saying that they were built with astronomical knowledge in mind?
They were. The people who built these cairns had this deep understanding of the cosmos.
Wow.
And they incorporated into their rituals, their beliefs.
That's incredible.
It is. Imagine them gathering here under the stars, performing these ceremonies aligned with the cycles of nature.
Wow. It's like a window into a completely different world.
I know.
I love that we're exploring something so ancient and so mysterious.
Me too. It really adds a whole other dimension to your trip.
It
right?
does, yeah. It really does. All right, well, let's take a break from the history and explore something a little more tranquil, shall we?
Sounds good to me.
What about the Inverness Botanic Gardens?
Oh, I think you'll love them.
Yeah, I do love a good botanic garden, a nice peaceful stroll among some beautiful plants.
Yes.
But what makes these gardens stand out, compared to everything else we've already talked about?
Imagine stepping into a vibrant oasis
Hmm.
filled with exotic plants from all over the world.
Ooh.
You're surrounded by lush greenery, colorful blooms. You can smell these incredible flowers carried on the highland breeze.
Okay, I love that imagery.
It's beautiful, right?
Yeah, it sounds like a really nice contrast to all the, rugged landscapes and the historic sites we've been talking about.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah.
And the centerpiece of these gardens is actually a stunning tropical conservatory.
A tropical conservatory.
Yeah, yeah. Think towering palm trees, exotic orchids,
Really?
and this balmy atmosphere that transports you to a faraway rainforest.
Wow, a tropical escape in the middle of the Scottish Highlands.
I know, right?
I never would have imagined.
It's one of those unexpected delights that makes Inverness so special.
This is getting more and more intriguing by the minute. What else is at these gardens?
Well, you can wander through these winding paths,
Mm-hmm.
discover hidden nooks. There are educational displays where you can learn about all the different plants.
Okay.
And they even have a charming cafe
Nice.
where you can just sit and relax and enjoy the peaceful ambiance.
Okay, all right. Inverness Botanic Gardens, officially on my must-photograph list.
Good choice.
I can already picture myself snapping photos of all the exotic blooms and just soaking up that peaceful atmosphere.
It's beautiful there.
Yeah. Now, before we wrap up this part of our Inverness adventure, you mentioned one more stop on our little historical journey.
Yes, yes. Our last stop will be Fort George.
Fort George.
It's this remarkable 18th century fortress.
Okay.
It's a testament to Scotland's kind of turbulent past and strategic importance.
An 18th century fortress. Okay, now you're talking. I'm picturing massive walls, cannons, maybe a hidden tunnel or two.
You're pretty close.
Am I?
Yeah. Fort George is remarkably well preserved.
Really?
It was actually built after the Battle of Culloden to kind of solidify Hanoverian control over the Highlands.
Okay.
And it was this really imposing presence that served as a deterrent to any further uprisings.
It's amazing to think that this fortress, is connected to those events that we were talking about at Culloden Battlefield.
It is, yeah.
It really, brings history to life when you can see those tangible links.
Exactly, yeah. And when you visit Fort George, you can really step back in time. You can walk the ramparts, explore the soldiers' barracks,
Oh, cool.
and you can even, imagine the daily life of the soldiers who were stationed there centuries ago.
Wow.
Yeah, and the visitor center has in-depth exhibits about the fort's history and its role in shaping the region.
Okay.
And the views, I have to say, are absolutely breathtaking.
Oh, really?
They overlook the Moray Firth and the surrounding coastline.
I'm already picturing myself standing on those ramparts, looking out over the Moray Firth.
It's incredible.
Okay, you officially sold me on that one.
I knew you'd like it.
Fort George is the perfect ending to this first leg of our journey through Inverness.
Yes.
I feel like we've covered so much ground already, from ancient burial sites and legendary locks to gardens and 18th century fortresses.
We have. It's been a busy day.
Yeah.
Yeah, it has. But we're just getting started. So for now, let's just take a break, let everything sink in, and when we come back, we'll dive into even more hidden gems and unexpected treasures that Inverness has to offer.
Okay. I can't wait. Okay, I'm back, ready for more Inverness adventures. So what other hidden gems are we going to uncover today?
Well, you mentioned you loved botanic gardens earlier.
I do.
I think you'll really love the Inverness Botanic Gardens.
Oh, yeah.
They're really something special, even compared to everything else we've talked about.
Okay, now I'm really curious. What makes them so special? I mean, we've got islers and castles and ancient burial grounds. What could possibly top that?
Okay, so imagine this. You step into this vibrant oasis filled with exotic plants from all over the world,
Okay.
lush greenery, colorful blooms everywhere, and you can smell the flowers, and it's like carried on this gentle highland breeze.
Ooh, that sounds amazing.
Yeah, it's really beautiful.
It sounds like a nice contrast to all the, rugged landscapes and historic sites.
It is, yeah. And the centerpiece of the garden is this stunning tropical conservatory.
A tropical conservatory in Scotland.
I know, right?
Wow.
Thick, towering palm trees, exotic orchids,
Yeah.
and this balmy atmosphere that transports you to a faraway rainforest.
A tropical escape in the
I
Highlands.
know, it's crazy.
That's incredible.
It's one of those things that just makes Inverness so captivating.
Okay, this is getting more and more intriguing by the minute.
Oh, yeah.
What else is there?
Well, you can wander through these winding paths, discover little hidden nooks.
Nice.
They have educational displays where you can learn about all the different plants.
Cool.
And they even have a charming cafe where you can relax.
Ooh, I love a good cafe.
Me too. It's just got this really peaceful ambiance.
Okay, sold.
Yeah.
Inverness Botanic Gardens are going on the must-see list.
Good choice.
Yeah. Now, before we wrap up this part of our Inverness adventure, you mentioned one more stop on our historical journey.
Yes, our final stop is Fort George.
Fort George. Okay.
It's an 18th century fortress, really remarkable. It really shows Scotland's turbulent past and strategic importance.
I'm picturing massive walls, cannons pointed out to sea.
Yeah,
Maybe even a hidden tunnel or two.
you're not too far off.
Oh, really?
It's remarkably well preserved.
Wow.
It was built right after the Battle of Culloden
Uh-huh.
to, solidify Hanoverian control over the Highlands.
Right, right.
And it was this imposing presence
Yeah.
meant to deter any more uprisings.
It's incredible to think that, this fortress is actually connected to the events we were talking about at Culloden.
It is.
It really brings history to life when you can see those tangible links.
Absolutely. And when you visit Fort George, you can really step back in time,
Yeah.
walk the ramparts, explore the soldiers' barracks.
Oh, cool.
You can even picture the daily lives of the soldiers who were stationed there all those years ago.
Wow, that would be amazing.
Yeah. The visitor center has really in-depth exhibits all about the fort's history.
Okay.
And And the views, I have to tell you, the views are just breathtaking.
Oh, really? Yeah.
You can see for miles over the Moray Firth and the coastline.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's incredible.
Okay, now you've sold me.
I knew you'd like it.
Fort George is the perfect way to end this leg of our Inverness journey.
I think so too.
It feels like we've covered so much already, from
Yeah.
burial sites to locks to gardens to fortresses.
I know. It's been a whirlwind tour.
It has. But before we wrap up our Inverness exploration, you mentioned something earlier about connecting everything to the bigger picture.
Right, right.
Yeah.
I want you to think about how the very landscape of Inverness has actually shaped its history.
Mm.
Think about the River Ness flowing right through the heart of the city.
Yeah.
It's not just, a scenic waterway. It was a vital trade route,
Right.
a source of life, even inspiration for local folklore and legends.
That's a really good point. I hadn't even thought of that.
Yeah, it's amazing. You can really see how the river would influence the development of the city.
Uh-huh.
And then there's Loch Ness, shrouded in mystery and legend.
Right, of course.
These vast depths have captivated imaginations for centuries, inspiring tales of mythical creatures. It's shaped the whole identity of the region.
Wow. I think I'm starting to understand what you mean by the bigger picture.
Are you?
Yeah. It's not just about, visiting individual sites. It's about understanding how they connect to create this tapestry of Inverness.
Exactly. And as you explore these places, think about how they fit into that larger narrative. It really adds a whole other level of meaning to your trip.
Wow. Yeah, I think you're right. It's crazy how much we found out about just one city. I went from thinking Inverness was all about Loch Ness to realizing it's this mix of history, nature, and culture.
Yeah, that's what I love about these deep dives. You start to see how everything is connected.
I know. I'm already picturing myself at those castles, feeling the wind and thinking about all the history.
Yeah, or maybe you'll be in that Victorian market fibbing tea and watching people go by.
Oh, definitely. And who knows, maybe I'll even see Nessie.
You never know. Those legends stick around for a reason.
Right. I feel like after learning so much about the loch, I'll see it totally differently.
Exactly. And that's what I hope you take away from this. Inverness really makes you think deeper. Every place has a story.
It's like you gave me a secret map. Now I want to find those hidden things that make Inverness special.
That's the spirit.
Yeah.
And remember, we only scratched the surface here.
Oh, I know.
Inverness has something for everyone, whether you're into history, nature, art, or just the vibe.
Okay, so that wraps up our Inverness deep dive.
Yeah.
10 awesome places that show the heart of the city.
Yeah.
But more than that, we learned about the ideas and the history that make Inverness more than just a place on a map.
As you plan your trip, be open to the unexpected, get lost in the city, talk to people, and enjoy those little moments that make a trip unforgettable.
And if you see Nessie, send us a pic. Happy travels, everyone, and may your Inverness adventure be full of surprises.